Do you find Keage more difficult than Kekomi? There might be anatomical reason behind that. Hip joint is like this, and then it also has a bit of notch coming out, and then it moves by twisting around to go in that way. Your femur bone. Some of you have a long neck. Some of you have small neck. Now imagine this is the socket here, yeah? If you have a very short neck, then even if you turn it around, some of the angles, yeah, if you have a long neck, if you just twist it around, you can lift the leg higher. But if you have a short neck and this bone may be obstacle, and then your mobility may be limited because of your femur bone. Some of you have a neck like this, perpendicular, or like this. If you imagine this, the socket ball like this, and then if you have an angle like this kind of guy or her, then yeah, even if you turn it around, you can turn it around like this, but then to bring it out to turn it leg up and that kind of thing is a lot more limited with this kind of perpendicular angle than this kind of angle. The head can be really steep angled or that kind of angle. Yeah, so you understand from this angle of the head can be facing that way or facing more forward. Everyone is different. Socket, the acetabular part. So if you look at this, you can see this person has a very like a deep socket. This one person has a very shallow pocket. So you can imagine if the pocket is shallow, you can lift this one up without getting the bone on its way. However, if you have a deep socket, the acetabular bone is really protected, but when you want to lift sideways, yeah, it is not going to be helpful. So you have to really turn it inwardly rather than sideways. If you have same hip size, yeah, this person has a very steep angle of the hip bone. This one is a lot more facing forwardly. And then if you look at the acetabular, this person is looking really down. This one is coming forward. So if you imagine the socket you can see this person has a lot more ability to rotate really close to the body. This person has to bring it a lot more forward to rotate. Can you see that? This photograph I shouldn't mention is Paul Griley's Bone Photo Gallery. By bringing something absolutely, so don't do this, but absolutely straight line above your head, and then open your feet in your comfort. So you don't have to completely open it like this, but making sure the kneecap and the toe are facing the same direction. And inhale and exhale. When you're doing this, apart from some muscular weakness on your back, if your knee wants to come forward like this, and you feel really strange pulling, rather than just having a muscular difficulties and you're just wobbly, that often indicates that you really have a deep hip socket. So you may find this okay, you lean forward with the forward, but if you start, as you get a bit wider, this kind of sumo squat, absolutely difficult. So how do you get over how deep socket and do the Keage well? Which I pretty much showed you. Like you have to prepare this, so femur bone is open, turned out first, then you can go snap it out. So your femur bone is going that way, like this is hip socket, going that way, so there's a freedom here, then you can go up. Now, to get that more easily, I want you to just practice this first. So just loosen up, but also your hip gets used to going in this direction. So this one was a strengthening position as training for activating all the muscle attached. This is just getting this mobility happening. And the next one is this. Then like a boogie woogie, really deep. And bring the hip. This will prepare you for this. So in, this is in, and then out, and bring it back in. In, out. Yeah? Very, very deep socket. But can you imagine if your body tilts? So this is tailbone like this. If I go like this, go like that, it helps to come up a bit more. Does it make sense? For a person like this, it's already there. So I hardly don't have to lean forward to be able to lift a reasonable level. But if I go like this, I can go up higher even more. Yeah? To this. Yeah, this goes kind of above the head. So if you have a bone structure like this, you definitely need that. You definitely would need this to get there. So you need the leg strength, glute strength, core strength to be able to sustain and then oblique to pull it. But upper torso doesn't have to wobble, just change the angle. So it's the bowing position, not this kind of, yeah, a lot of people try to compensate by lifting the shoulder, etc. But that's not gonna make the kick very strong or stable. From hip to this, yeah? This is the kibarachi, relatively stable, and I'm sitting on the hamstring, and the posture is not arched back, not arched forward, but boom, yeah. Then when you step, okay, if you have a deep hip socket, yeah, even if you go like this, the hip femur bone and the hip joint will jolt. So this is the first thing that you feel like doing. Yeah, this is the first thing, because your muscle is tight and you want, and the femur bone is in this socket, so you want to give yourself a break like this. Now, and then if you go like this, and then your feet opens like that. How to get over it? Instead of keeping the quads tight and then struggle to go that way, release it. Release it. So this is the boogie woogie exercise that we did to warm yourself up. Now, let go of the quads. Get rid of the tension, then move it. Then this is not on the edge of the hip socket. You actually go inside of it. This is my hip. If I allow my hip to go this way, it gives in the middle of the, not femur bone's not on the edge of the hip socket, but it's in the middle. So you have a bit more space, so your knees are a lot more free. Yeah, so you can kibarachi, tension that way. Now release it, so you can go there. Then before you land, don't go like this because you'll end up shikorachi, but go again this kind of feeling, releasing the hip joint, releasing, then come out. Then you can finish in kibarachi. So release, now release, release the knee joint here, yeah, and then as you weight shift from this leg to this, you prepare yourself this way so you can go up. This way, as if you're gonna have a cup of tea here, and then splash. Splash. Yeah? Release that supporting knee, hip joint and knee. Then from here, ready to splash. Okay? And then if you have a very, very deep or tight hip socket, make sure your body is almost like this. So it gives the most freedom. Always hip joint has more freedom forward, especially for this kind of hip socket. Yeah, you can see that more forward opening than side opening. So you give yourself more opening towards this, so you end up kicking this direction, but your torso is there, then you finish. So you're still doing yokogeri, side kick, but the moment of execution, your body is turned that way, so your hip socket is facing that way. That in this way, you will not end up having, abrasion of your hip joint. So you can kind of prevent future arthritis or just overwork of the hip. Another assessment of your hip angle is to go like this. If you have wide hip socket, you will be able to bring the knees down and that kind of thing quite easily. And then if you have somebody even standing on it, you don't feel anything, almost nothing on your hip joint, because there's nothing stopping. If you feel like if somebody gives you pressure and it's like some parts muscle but some parts feeling like it's not quite right kind of pain or pulling, then your hip socket may be a lot more forward. Yeah, so for me personally, this is easy, but for me to go down there, try to bring the knee down, it's much harder and more around here. I can't bring the knee down. I feel that strange pulling, but you may find to bring the knee down in this angle a lot more comfortable, and this one really strenuous. So find the angle that is, because this is the one you can bring the leg. Yeah, so if it's more like deep hip socket person, this might be stronger for you than this. For me, this is a lot stronger because that's giving you a lot more joint freedom, and I can just work on oblique very easily. But if you don't have that, you may have to go like this rather than like this. Yeah, this angle, everyone's different, but you have to know what's most effective and right for you.